Hey everyone, what's up? Larry here with Interstellar Happenings, your source for universal news and mysteries. I couldn't be more ecstatic to bring you today's episode. Where do we even begin to unravel the cosmic tapestry of it all? July 26, 2023. It's a day that's going to be etched into human history. A day when the hallowed halls of Congress echoed with testimonies that sent shockwaves through the very fabric of our reality.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
Yet, it was also a day that left me with a sense of profound disappointment in us, the people.
This just into CNN breaking news. The judge in the Hunter Biden case making a surprise decision.
Imagine, if you will, the most pivotal congressional hearing in the history of mankind. A truth so shocking it could shatter our understanding of the universe. A truth about an extensive UFO retrieval and reverse engineering program operating right under our noses. And yet today, switch on any mainstream news media channel and what do we find? The frivolous antics of a 53-year-old frat boy. Why isn't the world talking about this? Why aren't we perched on the edge of our seats breathlessly awaiting the earth-shattering revelations this hearing could unleash? Because, well, some people, they just still don't get it.
The Biden administration's initial inability to address the object grew into a continuous series of embarrassments.
We're served stale political snippets from the ancient ones and the uninformed ramblings of those who wouldn't know a star from a supernova.
We are billions of light years away from any other system. And the concept that an alien species that's technologically advanced enough to travel billions of light years gets here and somehow is incompetent enough to not survive Earth or crashes is something that I find a little bit far-fetched.
Skeptic or not, we've been told we've recovered biologicals. Do you grasp the magnitude of that statement? And just for the record, the nearest star with an Earth-sized planet in the habitable zone is Proxima Centauri, and it's a mere 4 light years away. But wow, even with all these distractions, history was still made here. Let's kick things off with the biggest mystery in the room. The 3 empty seats. Yes, these 3 empty seats next to Mr. Corbell, specifically the one reserved for a witness. I hear a lot of chatter, a lot of people talking, lots of theories going around the room. But when it comes to a possible witness sitting next to Jeremy Corbell, there is only one name that comes to mind. And that is Bob Lazar. Now, if this seat was intended for him or Corbell was just using his theater tricks, make of his non-presence what you will. If Bob was sitting right there, I'm not going to lie, I would have lost my shit.
You're fucking kidding me.
That aside, the witnesses that we did have, what can you say? Ryan Graves, a former U.S. Navy pilot, brought a significant level of credibility to the UAP hearing. His calm and measured demeanor coupled with his professional background made his testimony particularly compelling. Graves did not present himself as someone seeking attention or fame, but rather a concerned professional sharing his experiences for the sake of national security. Graves' accounts of multiple encounters with UAPs during his service were detailed and consistent, adding weight to his testimony. His descriptions of UAP's advanced maneuverability and speed, which far exceeded the capabilities of known aircraft, were particularly striking. These accounts serve to underscore the potential implications of these phenomena, emphasizing the frequency of these encounters, suggesting that these were not isolated incidents, but part of a larger pattern.
As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace, but they are grossly underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine. Military aircrew and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena.
And then we had David Grush. He was straightforward, ready to answer any question, so be it if it was just on the skiff. I was actually glad to see his demeanor was the same as it was on News Nation. He did not sensationalize his experiences, but rather presented them in a straightforward and objective manner, and it's obvious he's not shying away from this issue.
How does a program like that get funded?
I will give you generalities. I can get very specific in a closed session, but misappropriation of funds and
Does that mean
self-fund.
that there is money in the budget that is said to go to a program, but it doesn't, and it goes to something else?
Yes, I have specific knowledge of that. Yep.
Do you think U.S. corporations are overcharging for certain tech they're selling to the U.S. government, and that additional money is going to programs?
Correct, through something called IRAD.
He's legitimately telling Congress that there's a secret UFO reverse engineering program and recovered biologicals, as he calls it, at the deepest level of government, with no oversight.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Saying, I know where they are, I know who's in charge, I have names of the people that under the right conditions will testify, I just can't tell you publicly.
What agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super, thank you, and I yield back.
Grush's claim to know the locations of recovered crafts, if true, could be a game changer. His assertion that he sees this as his duty suggests a level of commitment that is encouraging. A move that at this point I'm pretty sure has Bigelow's head ready to pop. However, there is that risk that these crafts could have already been moved or hidden. We have known about this coming up for some time now, which could potentially undermine this investigation. And I have to be honest, I just hope that this all doesn't all end up like Geraldo's vault, if you know what I mean. Then there's David Fravor. Not gonna lie, I love this guy. You can see that 8-year-old kid that just saw a Star Wars movie for the very first time look in his eyes.
You know, I'm not like a UFO fanatic. It's not me. But I will tell you that what we saw with 4 sets of eyes over a 5-minute period, still, there's nothing, we have nothing close to it. It was amazing to see. I told my buddy I wanted to fly it, but yeah, it's just an incredible technology.
And finally, frighteningly, they all agree on one thing.
Again, in the national security vein, is it possible that these UAPs would be probing our capabilities? Yes or no, Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Rush?
Yes.
Fravor?
Definitely.
Is it possible that these UAPs are testing for vulnerabilities in our current systems?
Yes.
Yes.
Possible.
Essentially, these beings could be watching, finding our strengths and weaknesses. They could be measuring our atmosphere for hospitality, scientific readings, weather, etc. It could be curiosity, or it could be potentially the most dangerous situation we have ever found ourselves in.
Mr. Graves and Fravor, you know, in the event that your encounters have become hostile, would you have had the capability to defend yourself, your crew, your aircraft?
Absolutely not.
Sir?
No.
Is based off of the information that you've been privy to, is there any indication that these UAPs are interested in our nuclear technology and capabilities?
Yes.
By external observation, sure, that could be a fair assessment, yeah.
Yes.
They could be evaluating our defense capabilities, leading to testimony that underscored the need for comprehensive, objective, and scientific investigation into these unexplained occurrences. The mention of Holman Rule by Andy Ogles during the UAP hearing indeed marked a significant moment.
There clearly is a threat to the national security of the United States of America. As members of Congress, we have a responsibility to maintain oversight and be aware of these activities so that, if appropriate, we take action. I would encourage the chairman to demand that we have any and all, but in particular Mr. Grush, talk to us in a skiff. And if that access is denied, I will personally volunteer to initiate the Holman Rule against any personnel or any program or any agency that denies access to Congress.
The Holman Rule, named after Representative William Holman of Indiana, was first adopted in 1876, is a provision that allows members of Congress to propose amendments that can cut funds from spending bills under certain conditions. By threatening to cut funding, these members could potentially compel relevant agencies to be more transparent or cooperative in investigations of UAPs. The invocation of this rule in the context of the UAP hearing suggests a willingness among some of the members of Congress to use their legislative power to ensure that the issue of UAPs is taken seriously, essentially choking them out. Matt Gaetz also added another layer of intrigue to this hearing. Gaetz, along with Representatives Tim Burchett and Luna, shared their experiences during their visit to Eglin Base. According to Gaetz, they were initially denied access by the base's general.
Several months ago, my office received a protected disclosure from Eglin Air Force Base indicating that there was a UAP incident that required my attention. I sought a briefing regarding that episode and brought with me Congressman Burchett and Congresswoman Luna. We asked to see any of the evidence that had been taken by flight crew in this endeavor and to observe any radar signature as well as to meet with the flight crew. We were not afforded access to all of the flight crew. And initially, we were not afforded access to images and to radar.
And had to navigate a bureaucratic hurdle just to obtain the information they were seeking. This account underscores the potential risks associated with these phenomena and the need for a thorough investigation. Gaetz' account of their encounter with a sphere-like object that allegedly disrupted their radar systems suggests a level of technological sophistication that is currently beyond our understanding.
Thereafter, we had a bit of a discussion about how authorities flow in the United States of America, and we did see the image. And we did meet with one member of the flight crew who took the image. Here's what he said. They were out on a test mission that day over the Gulf of Mexico. And when you're on a test mission, you're supposed to have clear airspace. Not supposed to be anything that shows up. And they saw a sequence of 4 craft in a clear diamond formation for which there is a radar sequence that I alone have observed in the United States Congress. One of the pilots goes to check out that diamond formation and sees a large floating, what I can only describe as an orb. Again, like I said, not of any human capability that I'm aware of. And when he approached, he said that his radar went down, he said that his FLIR system malfunctioned, and that he had to manually take this image.
This experience underscores the need for greater transparency and cooperation in the investigation of UAPs. Ryan Graves also has some testimony about an incident that occurred at Vandenburg Air Force Base in California, adding another compelling account to the UAP hearing. According to Graves, Boeing contractors reported observing a massive red cube, approximately the size of a football field, hovering over a launch facility.
In the 2003 timeframe, a large group of Boeing contractors were operating near one of the launch facilities at Vandenburg Air Force Base when they observed a very large 100-yard sided red square approach the base from the ocean and hover at low altitude over one of the launch facilities. This object remained for about 45 seconds or so before darting off over the mountains. There was a similar event within 24 hours later in the evening. This was a morning event, I believe 8:45 in the morning. Later in the evening, post-sunset, there were reports of other sightings on base, including some aggressive behaviors. These objects were approaching some of the security guards at rapid speeds before darting off. And this is information that was received through one of the witnesses that have approached me at Americans for Safe Aerospace.
Representative Tim Burchett's active role in the UAP hearing indeed marked him as a champion for the cause.
Finally, I'd like to thank these 3 brave witnesses here. They took an oath. They took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and dadgummit, they're doing it. And we owe them a debt of gratitude. It's been so difficult to get here today. I've said, in the Baptist church, we'd say that the devil's in our way. And the devil has been in our way through this thing. We've run into roadblocks from members, from the intelligence community, the Pentagon. I proposed legislation to go in the FAA reauthorization that just said if an airline pilot has a sighting that when he makes that report to the FAA, that it would come to Congress. But I was told that the intelligence community did not like that, and the amendment was not even heard in committee. I think it's time for this country to take back our country. We need to tell the folks at the Pentagon they work for us. Dadgummit, we don't work for them. And that's exactly the point. This is an issue of government transparency. We can't trust a government that does not trust its people.
So we actually learned a lot of stuff today. Much of it I don't even have time to cover here in today's video, but there is also stuff that is still not privy to our ears, which is why we need to keep pressing this issue. So call your congressman. Let them know this incident at Eglin Air Force Base needs to be immediately disclosed, as well as the Vandenburg incident. Let them know that we want the answers. We need to know if something big is about to happen. It seems like the walls are slowly tumbling in on them. Did we have disclosure today? Absolutely not. We're not there yet, and it looks like there's going to be a large fight ahead of us to get there. But with each hearing, with each investigation, with each sighting, the people looking toward the skies, the real investigation starts right here with you. And to put it all in context, just last night I came across a photo from the James Webb Telescope. If its sheer beauty does not captivate you, its significance will. This here, what you're looking at right now, is the first deep field photo by the James Webb, a glimpse further back into the universe than we have ever seen before, 13.1 billion years into the past. What you're witnessing is the dawn of everything, and it's an endless sea of galaxies. The universe is ancient. Our world is but a child in comparison. The notion that we are alone in the vast expanse is simply implausible. The real question here is how much more advanced are these other civilizations? What do they want? And how do they plan to achieve it? Hey guys, I hope you liked today's video. If you did, hit that subscribe button, like, share. I hear it all helps the algorithm. And come back soon, or ring that notification bell to see more upcoming videos. I'm looking right now into the Convergence Turkey UFO case of 2007 through 2009. It's one of the most well-documented incidents ever recorded, and it is frightening, guys. The more I look into this one, the more I learn about it, how there was actually multiple sightings with hours of footage, the more fascinating it gets for me. Also, could Neil Armstrong have possibly been part of a UFO crash retrieval mission in the late 1960s? The Teos Caves and what he found. And between that, hopefully I get a few sightings to share with you guys, but until next time, I'm Larry, signing off. Take care.